Hi, I'm SS Cummings, author of the Job Loss Reframing Journal and corporate beekeeper. So, we're going to talk about the queen bee today. The queen bee is essential to the hive. Without her, life is difficult for the honeybee. She needs to be there so that they have a sense of calm. Her presence is what unifies them, allows them to know that the hive is in a good condition, the hive is safe. Her scent is what gives them that assurance, her presence. She is larger than all the other bees, and her body is made so that she can carry eggs to fill the holes in the honeycomb. Honeycomb, it's a honeycomb when honey is in it, but it's just a cell otherwise when they're working on it and so on. So she fills each cell with the eggs, and her body is the only body large enough to carry so many eggs so that she can lay thousands, hundreds, and thousands of bees over a period of time. She also has the longest lifespan in the hive. She can live roughly 3 to 7 years, but by the seventh year, usually she's getting tired and old, and her scent is not as strong, and they're looking to replace her. But before that, let's say she's young and she's ready to go. All right, so the queen is necessary. When you see the hive and you listen to the buzz and it sounds unified, it's calming, it means that the queen is there. The queen is present. They know that she's well taken care of. Her attendants or retinue, they are taking very good care of her. They're digesting her food and feeding it to her so that it's nice and in an easily digestible way. They are making sure that they clean her poo, make sure that she's clean, make sure that she's not too hot, she's not too cold, just so she can focus on just laying eggs. That's her job. Lay eggs, lay hundreds and thousands of eggs. This for me is a parallel to the organization. If the workers are working well, meaning that they're doing their tasks efficiently, the hive will be represented by the infrastructure that is set up to facilitate the workers that's in a good condition, safe environment, the equipment is provided for. Also, the worker bees, whether drones and worker bees, they would represent the workers in the hive, and the queen, of course, would represent the leadership of the organization. If all of that is working in synchronization, if they're synchronized, then the hive thrives, and so does the organization. Without this kind of unity, then there are lots of gaps that remain, and over time, the organization will no longer be viable. So, when the worker bees take care of the queen, the organization will be a healthy one. Now, let's say a young beekeeper um, makes a mistake and the queen goes missing forever, never to return, cannot be found, never to return. She goes missing. It means that the bees no longer have that center of assurance that they once had. And so you will hear discord. You will see the bees at the front of the hive blowing. Everybody's is the buzz is so noisy, it's so loud. There's no unity in it, and you can know as a beekeeper that the queen is missing. That center of assurance is missing. Now, in order to replace her by the natural method, they're gonna have to wait roughly, let's say, 45 days, because one, they're gonna have to repurpose a larva or two. So these are baby bees that were not too old, 1 to 2 day old, 2 days old. They're going to repurpose these baby bees. When they repurpose these baby bees, They're going to know on day three, feed that larvae, larva only royal jelly. Royal jelly is a differentiator. That's special food only for the queen. That is what makes the bee come out to be the queen bee. Everybody else, every other bee gets, every other bee will get the bee bread and nectar for their regular growth. No, they're gonna have to take about 16 days before the queen comes out of her cell. They're gonna have to wait until she takes her maiden flight, until she collects all the sperm that is necessary from the other drones, and they're gonna wait until she rests, and then she's able to lay eggs. That's gonna take about 45 work bus bee business days, right? That's a very long time. That's more than a month. Now imagine in the job loss world, there is that gap when your harmony, your unity, your center of assurance is missing. That certainty you knew, you over time you woke up every morning, you had a plan in your head for your work ideas. You know what you're going to do, you know what your job is, you know what your function is, you know the people you're going to work with. You have a surety of what you're going to do for the day or for the month or for the years to go. When you've lost your job, it's like that period of waiting where there is no actual queen. But look at the flip side. You're waiting for the development of the new identity, that new work purpose, that new career transition. You're going through a period of moving from one old state or old identity, your old work job description, what you thought you were back then, and you're now going to give yourself some time to emerge as the new queen. It takes a while, and I can assure you that sometimes for the bees, while they're waiting, if they were not fortified, if there were not enough bees, sometimes they can be, the other bees come and steal the honey and kill off the queen, and there's a whole mess right there. So sometimes it doesn't go as planned, that waiting period. Very difficult. You're anxious. You're guilty for not being able to get back into a job immediately. You're doubtful about your abilities to go back into the working world. You're thinking about what it is that you have to offer, if you have anything to offer, because clearly nobody's hiring you for your old identity, your old work identity. This period, as in the B world, when you emerge, when you have done your assessment, you have now rebranded yourself, you've done some learning and some training, you've got some new skills, you now understand the new you. You will come back fitter. You will be able, like the bee queen, who when she comes back, she's younger, fitter, quicker. She's able to lay quicker, lay eggs quicker. She's able to do things faster. She's able to go all over the bee frame very quickly. She does her thing efficiently. In the very same way, somebody who has lost their job, but you have gone through that period of assessment, that period of rebuilding, you are also able to move into yourself, and you're able to offer what it is that is necessary. You no longer have the old identity. You're no longer held down by the remember, some of us, we used to have to ask permission to do things. When you've lost your job, there's nobody to ask anything. You're on your own. But now, the new you, you've learned to make good decisions. You've learned to use the knowledge, the skills. You've added on top of that. You've made yourself even more efficient, and therefore you're able to go out even further. That is what I needed to understand when I went through my doubt, when I went through my fears, when I was unable to understand what was happening to me. That process I had to shed. The old queen had died, so to speak. The old identity that I used to have, where I had to ask permission to do this and ask permission and wait for somebody to tell me to do this, that was no longer there. I was now confident about my own abilities to make decisions. I was not confident about the value that I could offer. I now knew that I was able to adapt. There are skills that I gained that I didn't recognize before that I was able to transfer into another environment. And that's why I did a job loss reframing journal, because sometimes you don't know where to start. And you need to understand that that assessment, that waiting period, that 45-day period where it seemed as if nothing was happening, a lot was actually happening. You were journeying inwardly. You were journaling. You were writing down all your notes. You were thinking about your emotions, one thought at a time. You're writing them down. You were reframing your experiences. You were rebranding. You were liberating. You were learning things, new things. You understand? And then now, having done all of that, you are also able to jumpstart into the new world. You're able to join the new world. So for the queen, she is able to jumpstart and join. She's able to start laying thousands of eggs. So beekeepers love it when the queen is new. When the queen is new, oh my goodness, you see egg on top of egg on top of egg, lots of eggs, fresh comb, because the older bees have to now build out more comb to facilitate the new bees. The hive is growing, that means more honey, and so on, and the whole thing is there. There are enough bees to defend the hive. There are enough foragers to go out and get the nectar, get the pollen. All of that is welcoming for the beekeeper. And in the very same way, when you have discovered these new things, when you understand that this new you is a great mix, that even though your job loss was forced, it was actually a forced opportunity to liberate, learn, reframe, rebrand, right? It's the flip side to job loss. That opportunity to journey and journal, liberate and learn, reframe and rebrand, and then jumpstart and join. Literally, the JLRJ reframing strategy. I'm in awe of it because it reminds me so much of the bees. For nature to be able to understand that these are the key principles that you need in your moment of loss, that you need when you don't know what to do. There is a framework. And remember, don't forget this, faith is ultimately important, because as you go along the journey, you have to be faithful that everything that you have gathered, all the pollen, the value that you've gathered about yourself, that they're necessary. You have to be faithful. The scripture actually says, faith as a grain of mustard seed. That's all you need. One step at a time. Every obstacle is a stepping stone. Have a great day and keep pollinating purpose.